I'm having some technical difficulties hearing you all this morning. I am so sorry. My computer is running slow. But we want to excitingly welcome you all back to the Peak Wellness Hour. We've got a topic today that deserves more attention than it receives. That conversation is enhanced intimacy in older adulthood, excuse me. So for many people, intimacy mistakenly viewed as something that fades with age. Society often portrays romance, passion, and closeness as belonging only to younger adults. The truth is quite the opposite. Research consistently shows that emotional intimacy becomes richer with age. Many couples experience deeper trust, stronger communication, and a greater appreciation for one another later in life. So today's discussion is not just about sex. We're going to be talking about connection, companionship, safety, physical affection. And because of that, we brought on special guests, the Carters, the royal Carters. If you all think the Beyonce and Jay-Z, no, these are the Carters to know. So we're going to dive right into that. And we're going to ask you to hit that like, share, and subscribe button while we get everybody in. Please share with a friend because it's going to be an amazing conversation. Stay tuned. I tell you what, I'm going to have to take me a Toastmasters class
and slow down with my words. Okay. Welcome and greetings to you all. We're so excited about this conversation. Like I said, we have a very special powerhouse on with us today. And you all, most of you have seen my queen, Aunt Gloria Carter, a best selling author of the Glory Carrier Prayer Journey. That is in the comment section, that is in the description for you all to take a look at and support her. And then I've got my King Uncle coming on, Brian Carter, and I speak of him a lot. Um, but now I got to get him on. They're an amazing couple, and we're going to have the conversation with them because they are two very busy people. Okay. And so to see how after all their years of marriage, they do their own thing. She has her thing with, the Arthur with leadership, all kinds of things. He's in the community. And we're going to talk a little later about some things he has going on, how you can support there with the Black Men's Group. But they come together and they do amazing things like this. Take the time to impart into others and just share information and empower. So I know they are marriage counselors, pastoral counselors. So you're going to get a lot of good information here. So you definitely want to like, share, and subscribe. I do want to ask you, I'm going to stop talking because Queen Edith has to go shortly. She has another obligation. So we want to get her input. And you know how we do on the People in this Hour, we tend to run over. So we want to get her input. We want to bring this queen in. And then we'll have Queen Gloria Carter take the lead along with Brian Carter when he does come on. Queen.
Hey, 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 it's been a minute, and I come and join you on the last Saturday of the month of July. How has your July been? Well, today we have quite an intriguing topic. It's very loaded. I don't even know how we're going to go into all this because it's a very loaded topic. We said enhanced intimacy among older adults. Remember, we didn't say enhanced sex, neither did we say declining intimacy or declined sex. We said enhanced intimacy.
Mhm.
Because one of society's biggest misconceptions is that intimacy fades as we age. It's only when we don't understand what intimacy truly is that is when it fades. But intimacy is deeper than just sexual connection. It's deeper than physical connection. It's deeper because it is a spiritual connection. That's where true intimacy comes from. The man or the woman who knows how to dig deep into intimacy with the Lord, with their God, who knows how to go deep in God. This is my perspective. Knows how to keep and sustain intimacy in their marriage. It's got nothing to do with age. Sex may have something to do with age, but intimacy does not have much to do with age. So listen, invite someone, invite someone. We're waiting for you to also tune in into our YouTube page, the Peak Wellness Hour on YouTube, because Facebook takes down these videos. Peak Wellness Hour on YouTube. Listen, if you're my age and you're single and you're at some point hoping to be married, know that you can still achieve intimacy. Queen G and I had a very interesting conversation on this very topic, and it might just come up. I'm not going to go into it right now. It might just come up. So tune in, because intimacy is an amazing gift given to us for our relationships. Invite a friend, okay? Share this video, please. We are not here to waste your time. We are here to start a conversation that's going to continue in your hopes and later. We love you, appreciate you. This is the Peak Wellness Hour. And our website is also up. Our website is also up. Queen G will tell you more. Please, peakwellnesshour.com. Go to our website and subscribe so you get all our notifications. We thank you. We love you. Let's tune in to have this
Yes.
conversation.
And shout out really quickly to Black Love 17 because she is the first person that has suggested a topic that we can talk about. you followed up and done. So this, she suggested this last weekend, and so I wanted to honor that. And so thank you, Queen Out, for being on here, both of you. Queen Gloria Carter's birthday is the end of this month, so busy month. So yes. So without further ado, let's get into this conversation. My king uncle's eating. I think he's the only one that's eating this morning, so we're gonna let him eat. But I want to see his face, Queen.
Good morning. Am I on mute still?
No, you.
Okay, good morning. Blessings to you all. I am so excited about this topic. And we're not just going to leave it here. And you see, I got my birthday crown on. But we're not just going to leave it here when we talk about intimacy and we talk about intimacy in seasoned vessels. Okay. So we're going to talk, we're going to delve in. It's not just in marriage, but we're going to talk about relationships with families. Because, when we talk about intimacy, let's first talk about what the word intimacy means. The word intimacy means a state of being very close, familiar, or deeply connected with another person. Again, I'll say it. It means a state of being very close, familiar, or deeply connected with another person. Now, when you are interacting with your children or your grandchildren, because I am talking to seasoned people today, your grandchildren, your adult children, think of it when you were a child as well, how you were so close to the person who fed you the most. It could have been your mother. It could have been your grandmother. It could have been a babysitter, just somebody that you was very close with when it came to having a meal. You enjoyed the conversation you had when they was making the meal. If somebody was teaching you how to make a meal, I tell you, this is one funny thing. My mother said I do not have a black card when it comes to frying chicken. I cannot fry chicken.
Wow.
Okay? But it is okay. It is okay. I can do other things, but I could not fry chicken. But I enjoyed her trying to teach me. And I used to think maybe I messed it up on purpose so she would do it again with me, because she would take her time and go through the recipe and, say, you got to shake your chicken like this and make sure you pat it and all these things. And we were having conversation, but you were taking the time to pour into me. That's intimacy. So I equate intimacy is with relationships. Your relationships, your fellowships, that's what causes you to want to go deeper. Okay. And so I enjoy coming on Peak Wellness Hour, because every time I come on here, it seems like the topics that I am involved with always has to do with this subject. But it's okay. Because into me, you see, that's intimacy. Okay. So a couple of things is, hi, King. A couple of things is this. God put solitude in families. And that comes out of Psalm 68. I used to think solitude means he comes to separate. No, he comes to bring us closer. That's what. When God made man, he made him because he said, I want something to worship me freely. But then when he looked at man and he saw that he was alone, he said, I know. He felt what it meant to have something that longed for something. And that's how he made woman. And they became one flesh. They became fellowship. He had to take out of man what he already needed. It was already in him, just it wasn't meeting the need. He couldn't physically see it, so he couldn't embrace it. And that's how we are in intimacy and relationships. Sometimes we have to see it first. It has to look pretty. You know what? 70% of food intake is presentation. When it is presented well and it has a good aroma, it makes you want to dig in. So that is what we should be to one another. Great presentation, a good aroma, which means you're not always, negative Nancy or uh, disappointed Paul. You are presentation, which makes me want to partake. That's why we talk about that we're supposed to be good fruit, because you don't want a bad apple, you don't want a bad pear, and you don't want to pick it before it's not ripe. It's hard. Then you got to do all these special things with it. And you don't want one that's off the ground that's been bruised. You want it ripe for the picking. And that's who we are. That's why intimacy, you got to see into yourself first.
Mm,
We long to get intimacy from other places, other things, but you don't even know yourself. If
mm.
you don't know yourself, how can you present being good fruit when you ain't even know what fruit you really are?
Speak it, speak
It
it,
snaps in
speak
a
it.
circle, because I tell you, emotionally, you should have an emotional intimacy. All right. Physical. You should have a physical attraction. You should be attracted to something that you want to take part in, right? Okay, we did talk about sexual intimacy. Okay, you know what? You don't want to engage with somebody who's giving off crazies, because guess what? When you engage sexually, you take on that person, their traits, their personalities, and everything, because that is the most intimate closeness you can be. All right. And then we talk about spiritual intimacy.
Mm,
That's the one we lack a lot. The two things are personal intimacy and spiritual intimacy. We lack those a lot because we don't equate that with being intimate. The first thing you go to is sex. It's the first thing you go to. Well, I'm single. I'm not having sex, so I don't understand intimacy. You ought to understand your emotional being. Because if you're not in a healthy state, don't go giving yourself to somebody. Even if you, yes, yes, yes. So intimacy is the ability to experience closeness and another person. Oh, that's what I told y'all. Okay. Yes, but I want you to grasp hold of what intimacy really is. And that's look into me and see. What do you see within yourself? And so today we're really going to be really tapping into self mode, your healthy intimacy of your emotions, your healthy intimacy with family, spouse, of course, and then with God. Are you healthy? These are the questions I just want you to really mull over and really think about. And I want to give moments so that today I say King Brian, but this is my elder. So Elder Brian, we're just going to let him have a moment to say some things, and then we'll go into some deeper dives. But good morning, sir. How was your breakfast?
Hello, Queen. How are you all doing? All right. So it is a pleasure to be on this broadcast, and I'm a great admirer of this format and this forum where you all can talk about things and we can share things, and it's intimate because it's amongst friends, it's amongst family, and it's hitting on issues of the heart. So today's topic, from the point of view that I want to just be able to add to, is of course just let's reiterate what intimacy is. What's the raw definition? Is a close familiarity or friendship closeness. And so, what Queen Gloria is saying is that understanding the end part, which is us, you know, internally is so important because we don't want to wreck up somebody else's thing because we don't have our stuff together. Now, we never have our stuff together 100%. We're human, uh, and there's some a bit of selfishness that's going to be involved in everything. It's human nature, but when we remove ourselves from that tendency
I'm
to
sorry to
be
interrupt you, King Uncle. Come closer. You're breaking up a
You
little
hear?
bit. I want to hear
Okay.
everything you got to
I
say.
need to turn my volume up.
Probably.
No, maybe
Okay, just give me a minute.
closer.
It's
I didn't
kind of
want to speak.
echoey.
See, he had a good
Do you
breakfast,
have
and now
another
he's just
device
kind
on?
of like, but sitting back a little bit.
Okay, let's get it up.
Is that better?
Dealing with these phones and stuff. So,
That's
okay,
Better, much better.
I'll just speak up a little louder. And so, it's so important that when you've already committed to being with a mate, and this is a lifetime commitment, it's so important to balance what you need to do for yourself and what you all need to do together. And so the togetherness is the vow, is the commitment that you know you're going to become one flesh. That means you're going to think in unison. You're going to think in team. And so when it comes to intimacy, it it should blend into being like our oneness together. Of course, there's individual time, but our oneness together, and let's value and cherish, this time. I was sharing with a group I work with, men, fathers of all ages, and stages, and I was just saying I had been, September we'll be married 35 years, and I always make them give me a hand because that's some hard work, that's some work put in, and then of course if you talk to Queen Gloria, she's always going to add on these extra years where we were, dating and trying to figure everything out, you know. And so she feels like that work has to be included with the thing. But what I explained to them is that I have been married longer than I have been an adult.
wow.
And so it's like, wow, all I know really is marriage. All I know is this committed unity, that walk that we're going on here, and it's a true marathon. And so me and Gloria were joking about, I was telling her I was hungry for an egg, and it was during the workday, and it was like, oh, I want to go somewhere and get an egg. So I went to a restaurant, and thinking I'm gonna get some eggs and some pancakes, and that sort of thing. And it just, I didn't even sit down. I went to the restroom and then just was like, I told the waitress, even she brought some water and everything. I said, "Oh, never mind. I'm just going to, forego this." And part of that is that I'm so used to dining with Queen Gloria that it just didn't seem right. So I just went and got some fast food because that was just a quick, easy thing that I didn't have to think about. But to sit by myself, not that I'm paranoid or don't want to sit by myself, it's just that we know that the dining experience is part of our intimacy. It's an exchange, it's the closeness. We talk about the day, we talk about futures, we talk about, family, children, that sort of thing. So, intimacy is it is marriage. It is, and I know we're not just talking about marriage. I mean, because like I said, even in the definition, it talked about friendship, And of course,
Mhm.
we talk about family and that sort of thing, but it's the closeness, it's the longing to see each other. You know, I feel good when I come home, or when my wife is just like, "Hey, where are you?" We haven't talked all day, that sort of thing. And the same thing, I may call her and say, "Hey, where are you at?" I'm about to call the police on you because I ain't seen you. And what's going on, And then we'll apologize. Oh, we were busy and everything, but hey, can't wait to come home. Even if it's to come home to Gloria's, cook. So I mean,
Mhm.
she's trying a meal out on me or whatever, and then or just coming home to rest, or coming home to even watch something on TV. It's like we got certain things like we wouldn't necessarily stream a movie or watch maybe even our favorite kind of series of shows without each other, because it's like I want you to experience this. I want you to get the
Yes.
understanding of this, and me trying to repeat it is not the same. Like, ooh, this happened in this and this and this and that. She wants to see it. And so that
Mhm.
is intimacy. That's togetherness. People, yeah, yeah. It bounces off
Which is I
into
couldn't hear. You guys got
it.
an echo, so I put her on mute.
Okay,
You had,
okay. So she was saying, say it again, Glo.
Oh, I was saying some of our conversations together
Oh,
are based on movies.
so based on movies and things that we watch, it spins off into conversation. So more deeper conversation of understanding us, each other emotionally, spiritually, and that sort of thing. And even
So
share
let's do it. Let's
it.
do a pause.
Hold on. Even to share scripture
Yeah.
is important. If I find something that I see that's enlightening, I can't wait to share it with her. Uh, when I do my sermons, which is kind of rare, but when I do my sermons, most of the time I want to impress her. So I won't tell her what
oh,
Mhm.
that's so
I'm
cute.
talking about,
Yeah.
because I want
That's
her to be surprised.
Hmm.
that's cute. I've got a
Yeah.
question for you all, and I bet a
Okay.
lot of adults are wondering this, and I bet you all can answer this. So, you both mentioned finding yourselves, as far as even self intimacy, and diving into self, and just mentioning the 35 years you have plus the six. How would you say that from the time when you're younger, or even as older adults, we get into relationships in our older adulthood, so even in young relationship, in new stage relationship, how would you advise that to find self while you're growing as you grow older? Within 35 years, I know that you both have changed individually, you both have changed collectively. How have you been able to enjoy that journey where you've changed and adapted and grown and elevated, and all the hills and valleys and mountains together, and come out together like you are now?
May,
Space.
may
We
I
just-
interject
Yes.
before you answer that question?
Hmm.
I'm sorry, but I'm going back to protocol. King Brian, I have never met you on this platform. This is your first time. I just want to take a minute and welcome you to the Peak Wellness Hour. I don't want to ignore that, and I do not want to take that for granted. So thank you so much for
Yeah.
insight. I do have a lot of questions. I just shifted my appointment to 12:15 because, and I want to let our audience know, and I want to also honor Samuel Arnold. Samuel Arnold was my boss
Hmm.
when we work on the United Press. Can you put him back there? Like when we work on my first United Nations project, he was my boss. He mentored me. He's a communications expert. He's a tourism expert. I worked for him for years. We had an amazing. He taught me a lot. So I just want to take this opportunity and an SS if you're on and honor you and acknowledge your presence too. But King Brian, Queen Gloria, you guys have influenced us in different ways. from a distance. So we appreciate you being here. And I just want to make sure that I say that if I have to jump off, I don't jump off without ever acknowledging your presence and our appreciation of being here. Essence, thank you for being here so much. I appreciate it. He's all the way in Ghana. If you're taking a trip to Ghana, I will
Our
recommend.
son just came back from Ghana on Tuesday. He
You
was there
didn't.
for 10 days.
Well,
He was there for 10
you
days.
didn't tell me. Yeah, you know I'm from Ghana. How
I
did you
know.
forget?
It was so much going on. I forgot, Queen.
Let me
Please
know.
forgive me. Oh, believe me, he's going back. But
He's
yes.
a tourism expert as well, and we worked in the tourism
Oh my
industry together.
goodness.
So
Yes, we
yes,
have to have a
I
we have
have a background there too. So yeah,
yes.
but yeah, thank you. Now let's dive. And I want to
Okay.
say to our audience, please, I don't think this thing is gonna finish today.
It's not.
It's not. This conversation will continue next week
Yes.
because Queen Gloria started with something very important, that we fear knowing our own selves. We fear sitting with ourselves. We fear because we don't want to confront the work that needs to be done. And that is where true intimacy begins,
It is.
starting with ourselves, getting know self so we know how we are coming into this relationship. So we can be in an intimate relationship and not be afraid that our spouse will see into us in ways that we are afraid to see into us. Because when you go back to Genesis, it says, and the two were naked and not ashamed.
Ashamed.
Intimacy, one word for me is depth. Is depth. And so we know that this is a deep conversation. We don't want to gloss over it. So we
No.
just want to bring into the awareness that this will continue. This will have a part two. And I'm hoping that we'll have Mr. and Mrs. Carter here again.
Yes.
So now I keep quiet and I let you go.
We love you, Queen Edith. You know we love you. I tell you, and that why you said that. It's so funny when you said two were naked and not ashamed. They were complete within themselves and was presented to one another in completion. Now, sin is where it separates. But when you get to know yourself, you know your God and you know who you are. You don't mind showing your scars. You don't mind being naked before people. What can they do that ain't already been done? So that's why sometimes you do have to come within yourself. But I always tell a funny joke, and Elder Brian's gonna get me now. But I always say, you know what? Somebody always said, ask me, how can you get through intimacy when you're arguing, when you have an intense fellowship? And I always tell them, get naked. Just get naked. It's hard for a man to argue with you while you're standing there butt naked.
Ouch, that's a trick.
He can't do it. He can't do it. He can't finish it. Ask him, can you finish a conversation? You can't when somebody's standing there in the raw. Especially you like what's in the raw. You just can't do it. So there's a sidebar for you.
Thanks for that tip, woman. Thanks.
But Angelina, repeat your question again because I
They're
wrote it
fun
down
together.
Yeah, I wrote it down, but I wanted to.
You all are fun together. Go ahead.
I wrote it down, but I wanted to make sure that we do start off. We're going to get back to the emotionals because a lot of times we don't like ourselves, especially as we look retrospective back into our lives, things that we have missed, things we haven't done. And sometimes you cannot, you have to revisit the past, but you have to close doors sometime on your past. You have to close the doors because you're always a new chapter being written each day. Some things you can't change. Some things you will have to break curses off of your back so that you can move on. A lot of times when it comes to physical intimacy, there's a lot of people that have had contact that wasn't supposed to be. Okay. You carry that into your relationships. You can tell me the day it was, what you had on, what it smelled like in the room, everything. And if you haven't dealt with those situations, if you haven't dealt with when you was mishandled as a child, even as an adult, people have mishandled us. Some things happened unaware, and some things we walked in blindly and we was mishandled. That cuts us off from intimacy because you carry it into every room. And today, that's what we want to talk about. And we're going to declare in the airways today, if you have been mishandled in any type of way, was it's spiritually, emotionally, financially, you've been mishandled in your intimacy in those areas, we want to break them off. And we want you to say within yourself, I will be healed. Because if you don't allow the healing to take place in those areas, I tell you, it carries into every area. I remember when my mother passed. Uh-oh, I got dropped off.
No, no, you're on.
Okay. Oh, okay. Bye, Queen Edith. I think she had to go. I remember when my mother first passed, and I said, oh, I'll never get to have that play date with her. And then, one day I took a picture of her and I had a play date. I went out, got lunch. I sat there. I cried. I looked at her. I said, hello, Queen. And I started thinking of some things, and I had a meal. Now, that might sound crazy, but do you know I was at a restaurant and the people were watching me? And it was a couple, and the husband was crying because he had just lost his mother. And he said, I never thought that I can continue on until I saw what you was doing. He said it wasn't like you was talking to yourself or nothing, but you was just happy. I said, because I had to take the time to grieve. I didn't realize I hadn't grieved. If you have not grieved through a loss of any kind, your intimacy will be hindered. Your relationships will be hindered. If you have grievances with your children, get those things together so that it doesn't hinder. And so individually, that's how we learn ourselves. Come clean with yourself. You ain't got to tell nobody. Just come clean. Like, I did not like the day when I woke up and I realized that I changed the bra size. I'm serious. I woke up in a day because I realized that I was going through menopause and I had changed sizes. I lost a lot of weight. Nothing was fitting. You would think, oh, that's so exciting, Queen Gloria. You lost a lot of weight. Nothing was fitting. But I knew the investment I had in my clothes. It was terrible. I had to try on different shoes. I'd be like, okay, I'm walking and the shoe fall off. Oh, Lord, what am I going to do? You put on the pants, they fall to the floor. You're like, yeah, I got to buy new clothes. That's stressful.
It is.
And so I had to learn these things that I could be intimate with my husband when it started happening with him. And I would tell him, don't buy right away. You have to work these things out. Know what works for you. And he would argue with me, and then I would just sit there quietly until he had the understanding for himself. And I had to say, have a conversation with yourself. because you're changing. When we started menopause, and men is called transition, and I'll let him talk about that. We had to see each other differently. And the day that I said, I am not, I said within myself, I'm not cooking today. I don't want to cook for the masses. I can have a piece of toast and I can last all day, you know. And then one day he said to me, "Can a brother get an egg around here?" Because now I thought to myself, "Now hold on, brother man. You got two hands. You can go in there and whip you up an egg, and it tastes better than mine." But it was the relationship he was really talking about. At the time, he really wanted an egg, but he noticed a change in me that I hadn't paid attention to myself.
Mm.
So we have to pay attention to ourselves when we are changing. Okay. I remember the first time I knew Brian needed glasses. You know what? I didn't come in with him. He was in denial. I said, you know what? It's just like Sinbad. He tells this joke about how you need to be with a woman who recognizes the symptoms of stroke so that she can understand what you need. So he has a woman that understands his needs. So, instead of saying, "Here, you need some reading glasses," I took him to dinner. We went out. I made sure it was a dark place, Cheesecake Factory. Can't nobody see in Cheesecake Factory in the evening. And he was like, "I can't see the menu." I reached in my purse and I pulled out his glasses. I said, "Try these on. See what you think." And he did like this. "Oh my God, I can see." Oh, oh. And then he was like, "Oh my God, I got to wear glasses." But I said, "But it's okay. The transition is good. Let's name them." We name them Jamal. Jamal, where's your Jamals at? And then it began the process.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he was able to embrace it. Then we borrowing each other's Jamal. We really got intimacy now because we borrowing them from each other. Did you bring Jamal with you? Give them to me. I can't see nothing. We have to share the menu. Okay, you read it first. Read it to me, and then let me see the glasses, and I read them. And so that changed. But you have to be able to see into yourself first before you see others. Mm-hmm.
And so, um, there's an author of a book or article. His name is let's see, Alan Rutherford, and he has the 12 types of intimacy.
Wow.
So you can look him up on online. But let me name the 12 types that are mentioned, and because a lot of times we just clump them all together. But there's of course sexual intimacy, which includes things like flirting, cuddling, kind of play touching and arousing each other.
Ooh.
Of course, we know that's what's called foreplay,
Yes,
and that sort of
yes.
thing.
One of
So
your favorite words.
well before you even have sex, foreplay is is in the mind. It's you're
Mhm.
working with each other's mind and
And
emotions
you
and
remember
that
what I
sort of
said
thing.
that it's what you see first,
Yeah,
presentation.
exactly. And
Mhm.
so that's the sexual intimacy. And then there is a public intimacy, and that's what a lot of people see with me and Gloria as a public intimacy, which is the social interaction together as a couple. So when we introduce ourselves, say, "I'm Brian,"
And
and
I'm
then she'll
Gloria.
say, "She's Gloria," and then
Together,
together we'll say,
the
"Carter."
Carters.
And that shows that togetherness that we operate in and want to continue to operate in. So it's going out together. We love going out with couples, and sometimes we'll evaluate, hey, who would we want to share this restaurant experience with, or who would we want to go on a trip with. I mean, we don't go on a trip with everybody, So, but we got some friends that are real close to us. We call them our lifelong friends. And so, we've been to Florida together. We've been to, Atlanta together and different things like that because we know that
We know each other
we know
intimately,
each other and
know
we
our
can we
quirks
can
and everything.
enhance our intimacy by talking with them and bouncing off, each other and that sort of thing. So that's public intimacy. Then there's emotional intimacy, which is, really talking about our feelings, how I feel, because I'm not the type that, I got friends, but
Break it up
there's a
again,
lot.
King Up. I'm sorry.
Okay, there's people
There it
emotionally.
is.
Can you hear me still?
Mhm.
Okay, and then so I look forward
Yes,
to
that
the
better.
emotional
Mhm.
exchanges with Gloria because she knows me best. I of course I got a brother that I grew up with and everything. But remember, me and Gloria have been together the longest. I got best friends that I grew up with, but me and Gloria emotionally have been together the longest. So that connection, that affirmation that comes along with talking with each other in vulnerability is important. Then there's intellectual. Now, the thing that impressed me the most, Queens, kind of like within the last 20 years or so, is that Gloria knows I love The Godfather, the Godfather movie series and everything like that. So she went out and bought like the book that talks about the nuances. And then she
Manuscript.
uses these phrases. Sometimes she'll use them, against me when we kind of arguing or whatever, or she'll use them to make me laugh, or she'll use them to bring light to something, and you're like, ah, ha, ha, you got me.
And the story behind that is I wasn't reaching him. It was a period of time that he just couldn't. He wasn't hearing me emotionally.
Mhm.
And the first time I did it to him, it was about intimacy too. I said, "I'm going to the bathroom. When I come out, if the money's on the table, I know we got a deal. If it ain't on the table, we don't." It messed him up. He was like, "Huh? What? What are you talking about?" He was, "What?" And then one day we were having intense fellowship. We was arguing, and he said, "I said, let's just take it to the mattresses." And he was like, "You don't know nothing about taking it to the mattresses at all." "Yes, I do. Let's go down. Come on with it." The argument was over. I had won just by what I said. Okay.
So it's an intellectual challenge that we
Mhm.
we go back and forth.
Mhm.
We are chess players, against each other, but
Right.
we understand it's all in sharpening each other. Then there's aesthetic intimacy, which is doing things together like the arts, literature. Me and Goy can go to a museum together and look at a portrait and be like, well, what do you think about this? And then the culture things. Have those cultural conversations about us as African Americans and and different things. And we even when our son came back from Ghana, we're asking him questions, so we could get an intimate understanding of, the motherland of Africa and how we feel and different things. And Gloria, she gets real emotional, about different things related to slavery. She can't watch certain kind of movies and stuff because it's just too hard for her. And I'm aware it is, so sometimes I'll watch something and translate it to her. so we can have the conversation and she don't end up crying. I picked out movies where what was that called? Colored Girls.
Oh,
And it was the worst movie choice, not because the movie was bad. It's just that it emotionally just wrecked Gloria.
it took about 5 days for me
You
to get over
know,
that movie.
losing Isaiah. She couldn't watch that back when that was out because guess what? Our son is named Isaiah. So, I have to help her through things, but I've been vulnerable and cried at a movie like A Time to Kill.
Oh,
And
my favorite of all
here I
time.
am at the end crying. Are you crying? Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm crying. You know what I mean?
because it's
Because
a
so we
manner.
were able to, after that movie, comfort each other. So that's that aesthetic and emotional
And can
intimacy.
I add to that?
Yeah.
Because not too long ago, it was just a couple of months ago, we were watching a movie and Brian had just went a certain way. And I was like, wait a minute, dude, you've been married almost 35 years and you still dealing with these type of emotions? You got a woman that adores you. It
It
was
was
a
the movie Boomerang.
boomerang and it was the rejection piece.
Right.
And he
Because
was like, I remember being the one to being rejected.
right. But that led us to an emotional intimacy because you're able to g- give confirmation and say, hey, you know what I mean, you are special to me and that sort of thing. So
And
that's
love did bring your you know what home last night.
so those things are important, and these are the things. So creative intimacy. Gloria is creative in her meal prep and her clothes and different things like that. And I support that because I do have to wake up in the morning and say, when she says which earring or which bracelet or this and this and that, and sometimes she gets a little angry if I say that ain't working.
She's serious about her
And
accessories.
Angie, you know where we're going, with that, what I'm saying? Like, that's not working. And she's like, well, why not? And this and that. And
She's very
so
serious about her accessories.
it is. It's an ordeal, but she was born that way. So I married that. I married that. And then recreational intimacy. Think
Yes.
about it. Enjoying playing outside, doing things together. You know, me and Gloria work out separately, but there have been times where she come to the gym and she doing her workout, or if we're out of town and we go into the hotel's gym or whatever, she's doing her routine, I'm doing my routine. We got music, or if we got the place to ourselves, we're playing the music or walking together. I hope before the end of the summer that we get
Get
in
a
some
real good
walks.
walk in. Yeah.
And we walk at a different pace now, so I may have to slow down. She used to be the fast walker,
I did.
and I was, catching
I'll be
up.
like, come on,
Now
come on.
I'm walking, and I'm like, come on, And then
I have to slow down a
one
little.
recreational thing that we did, and I don't want to take a whole lot of time, but it was 3 years ago. We went to New York, and there's this thing called the climb. And so, Queen Edith, it's like a skyscraper building, and you
Okay.
go to the 100th floor, and then you put on like this jumpsuit type of thing and then you go outside, and it connects you to the building, and you're walking up 250 steps
On the side of the building,
on the
Queenie.
outside of the building.
Who does something crazy like this?
And Gloria agreed to it because
I didn't know. I didn't know what I was agreeing to.
before we even went to New York, I was like, we got to do this. And because she's always challenging me physically to do things. So this was my physical challenge to her. And she made it. It was rough.
Wow.
She'd do about 15 steps and then stop. And it's like, baby, we with other people. It's like, you got to keep going.
I said,
And
I don't
plus, the
care.
slower you go and you stop, the more you think about that you're on the outside of the building. And so it's like, keep going, keep going. And we celebrate when we got up there to the flat platform, and they wanted you to be able to kind of like
Hang over the
hang over
side,
the
Queen Edith.
side edge. And she was at her limit. She had already made it up there, so she just kind of
I
stepped to
just
the
kind of stepped
edge,
over and said hi, and
and
that
that
was it.
was it. We took pictures, and people still can't believe to this day that I got
That you
Gloria
did.
to do it. But she agreed, and I just pushed her on. This was like, you didn't pay $270 a person. It's like, we gonna do
You
this.
better do it. 200
You better do it.
a
And the
dollar per
pictures, we'll have
step.
to
A
share the
dollar per
pictures with you,
step.
Queen Anne, because it's just,
It was
it's
spectacular.
breathtaking. We
Yes.
kissed up there and
Wow.
everything.
Wow. Wow.
So those
Okay.
things, the Grand Canyon, all that kind of stuff, that's that recreational intimacy that
And
we
may
have.
I add to that? You have to
May I,
remember. You have to remember
because I
something.
have to step off. I
Okay.
have
Okay.
to step away now, and
We
I
love
hate
you.
to
Well,
miss
thank you
it,
for
but
coming back on.
Yeah.
thank you. Yes, thank you
Yeah.
so much
So
for
we'll do
having
a round two with you, and you can look at the replay. Love
me.
you.
Right, right. I will look at the replay. We'll do a round two, but I want to say to our audience here, this is an amazing story of a relationship that has gone through a lot. But we live in an era where divorce is high. So
Right.
not many will have this experience. So what do you do? How do you achieve intimacy when you meet your husband in your 40s, in your 50s, in your 60s? Is intimacy possible? How do you prepare? And so these and many other questions are gonna come up in our next session.
How do
What
you
if
prepare?
you've gained weight and your stomach is hanging, and you really want that level of intimacy, but you feel ashamed of your body because this is not somebody you've grown with. This is not somebody whose babies you've had.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
And you know what, Queen Edith? This is what happened with us. It's the reverse. We were both very large people. And so King Brian missed out on the fun things of life that I did with the kids because of his weight. So then when
okay.
he came and lost 157 pounds, it flipped. So now he wants to do everything, but I'm old. You know what I'm saying?
Right. So we're
Yeah,
gonna
okay.
go into this next week about
Yeah.
what about adults, people who are grown and we are meeting each other. Are we ready and able to achieve that intimacy when we feel ashamed of our bodies? We will
Yeah,
continue
Very
this
good.
next week,
that
but
is
I
really,
gotta
really
step
good.
off. I love you, I appreciate
Okay.
you, and
Love you
thank
All
you
right.
so
too.
much
Love you
for
too.
being
Thank
here.
you.
Bye.
So back to that story. That's the reason why we were on the one Hudson is because King Brian made a bucket list. So he wanted to do these things. Well, it wasn't on my bucket list, but I had to get emotionally ready to meet his need. These were intimacy needs that he wanted met.
Because why I don't want to do this with a buddy. Now I wouldn't mind like if one of my sons want to be like, hey, let's do it. We're doing it. Because that's intimacy too, of course. Between father and son, or parent and child. But it's like I want this experience with Gloria. So the next one is going into a cave down in in Kentucky. They have these caves, and you can zip line in the cave. So we tried to do it, but
I picked,
they
yeah,
were busy.
yeah, but
No,
I
I'm talking
remember.
about when we went that
Oh,
one time.
okay. But I did
But
pick a cave. We've
we're
been
gonna
in the
do it.
under cave, but I picked the wrong one. I didn't know it didn't zip line. So we had to climb. Now I feel like I've already did it. But we had to climb 600 feet deep. We got to go deep,
Yeah,
600 feet
so
deep.
we're gonna do it. It's gonna be great. So okay, let me finish the list just for completion purposes.
Okay.
So then there's work intimacy. Okay, so is performing of a task, including maintaining a home. Okay, so raising a family and earning a living. So we know that's a juggle. So when somebody accomplished that or needs to be encouraged in work, the satisfaction, planning. I mean, Gloria's helped me in job transitions. You know what I mean? Because there was a lot of emotions after you've been working somewhere for 30 years and you leave there and then you go to another job and then the federal administration cuts that and then you got to go to another place. It's like you need that emotional support, you know what I mean, when it comes to work. Or if someone is saying, hey, I want to work on school right now, and can I be supported in this season? Work intimacy is important. Then there's crisis intimacy, and we know that there's hardships that plague everyone. So
Loss.
how can you support? The word intimacy is support or closeness, because in crisis you can separate and that would cause more of a problem. So we're talking about a consistency of love and affection, even in crisis. And then the next one is conflict. So when you're facing differences, how quick can you resolve conflict and come back to intimacy? You know what I mean? So that is
Hmm.
a major challenge. It really is, because conflict is usually what causes divorce is stress and emotional things, and then there's conflict or constant conflict that leads to divorce. So the art of just working through that, and then of course there's communication intimacy. That would be kind of similar to emotional, but it's honest and open and loving, proactive interaction.
Elder
Okay.
Brian, let's ask you a question then. How can you achieve that type of intimacy where you have to have an honest conversation with somebody about your changes when you're feeling you have an emotional problem?
Well, I believe that it can't be done on the fly. It can't be
What do you
something
mean
that's
by it can't be done on the
meaning
fly?
that, it's just like it can't be done like, oh, it's 12 midnight and we're going to try to resolve this and the person's got to go to work in the morning. You know what I mean? You have to have set a, a part time. Sometimes it has to be away from the children. It has to be away from all the hustle and bustle where you have in a retreat. And me and Gloria have gone on retreats where it wasn't like a big couples retreat. It was just like us and another couple. And we sat down in a hotel room working through kind of like a organized curriculum on on just issues of life, issues of individual life and issues of couples life, and come out with a plan.
Now,
Come
is
out
that
with a
easy
plan.
sometimes? Is that easy being able
No,
to do that?
because when does the world stop moving? Never. So it's just like, hey, we got to we have to value that we need to break this time away. Gloria, I never could understand for a long time. It's like, why does Gloria always want to go to the hotel? Why does she always want to go to the hotel? But we're different. We have a different mentality when we go to the hotel. Sometimes, okay, if it's a 2 day, 2.5 day time in the hotel, then first of all, we can just relax and just rest. I mean, literally shut the shades, don't have to answer the phone. Nobody, we're not acknowledging anybody. There's no going to church or nothing. It's just we're sleeping. Then we can wake up and be like,
And
okay,
be
you know what I
naughty.
mean? Yeah, be sexually intimate, and then
Well, not naughty, goody.
go to eat. Then talk about things. You
Let's
know what I
talk
mean?
about
Talk
things.
about things. So those things are necessary. I would say
Hmm.
quarterly. That's necessary. And you don't have to go to the fanciest hotel. If you're on a budget crunch or whatever, you go somewhere, or you collect up points like Gloria does, and get the deal. You know what I mean? Sometimes the best time to go out of town is when everybody's coming into your town.
Yes.
Everybody's coming in your town for the fireworks or for this or for that,
Gotcha. Let's
for some
go.
major thing. Let's go the other way.
Yes.
We don't want to be bothered with all that.
Right.
We want to be somewhere where it's just us.
But it was
So
good that you finally understood. When did the light bulb come on for you? That you understood that I knew that I had your total attention when we would get away like that.
probably about maybe 5, 6 years ago, you know. And sometimes as the education comes with listening to things that are building up marriage and stuff like that. That's why it's important to listen to things. I'm not talking about this stuff on TikTok. There's sometimes stuff come on TikTok. Gloria's going through reels, and I'm immediately say, turn that off because that is not our wavelength. What they're doing is kicking up something that can't be finished, and reels are like 2 minutes long. Now you're kicking up something that has no ending to it. Remember how we used to watch the Oprah Winfrey show or one of these shows? They let these people argue all the way up until the last 5 minutes of the show and then try to come up with this quickie solution or say, you know what I mean, call this number, this is available for counseling or whatever. Not enough time put in to remedy, really remedy the situation. So I really avoid that kind of stuff because they're just picking at sores and stuff and don't have any kind of salve to really fix it. So
And I remember that, Brian, he had to let me know that it messes with my emotions.
yeah,
And if something happened, I'm emotional. I'm emotional. So sometimes if something's going on with somebody, I have to go somewhere and debrief myself before I interact with Brian because I can carry that. That's why in the word it says, cast your cares upon the Lord, for he cares for you. I have to cast those things down because those imaginations that go there. And then sometime I can say, would you ever act like that?
well, I had to long time ago. It was
No,
like,
no,
well, I
I
mean,
would
I
say
was
that
just
to you.
saying. I'm just
Uh-huh.
giving an example.
Okay.
I just had to ban Gloria from watching divorce court. What
Yes.
what are we getting out of that? We're not getting anything out of this entertainment and the fact that the majority of the people on divorce court are going to get divorced.
Right.
So what
But
kind of
I didn't even know I was going
yeah,
off. I would
there's
just
no
say, if you
remedy
ever,
and
and if you ever,
don't want to
and if
be
I
bothered with that.
ever,
Exactly. That's not us. None of them named Carter on that show. And then the same thing with Everybody Loves Raymond. My name is not Raymond Barone. I am not an idiot. I'm not going to videotape over our wedding
already.
video. I'm not going to videotape the ball game. Why? Because I labeled the video saying our wedding is valuable to me. So it's like, don't we could watch it real briefly for entertainment purposes or for parenting or whatever or something, but we can't lay on that because that's just bad for us. Same thing with music.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that makes I mean, if you really think about it, your average R&B album puts you on an emotional roller coaster.
Mm-hmm.
I want to meet somebody. I found somebody. He's the perfect person or she's the perfect person. Then no, they cheated on me. They ain't no good. Or I'm separated and I don't want to think about them no more. Then we come back together and oh, I'm meeting another new person. That's too much. Life.
I remember they sing a song, I'm sugar free. So you ain't sugar free, you married.
Well, she sings the song now and she can't get it
It's
out
a
of her
fighting
system.
song.
She
I
can't
used
get out of
to,
the system that Lou Rawls song talking about you'll never
when he
find,
cuts out,
this and this and
I'll
this.
hum it. I'll be like,
And it's like
you'll never find.
that ain't got nothing to do with us. You know what I'm saying? That has nothing to do with us. So
And
sometimes
I'll
you
start
have to
saying, you're gonna miss my
right, yeah,
loving.
no, I'm not gonna miss your loving because your loving is tomorrow. You know what I mean? So you ain't going nowhere. We're not going nowhere. So why are we singing that?
Just
I'm
to
not
let
gonna
you
sing.
know.
I'm not gonna hum me and Mrs. Joe, even though that was actually one of the first songs I knew as a child, outside of elementary kind of singing songs. That but it's like I can't sing that.
Mm-mm.
I mean, you know what I mean? I know the lyrics and I understand and this and everything, but I'm not gonna be humming that on a regular because it's bad for our intimacy. So we have to now we got Chat GPT and Suno and all that. We make our own song if we want to. Cater made song.
There
Yeah.
you
So
go.
as I come to a close with this list, basically the last one is spiritual. And so spiritual intimacy is so important because God spiritually put us together from the beginning of time. God put us together. So we have to acknowledge that, and pray together, read scriptures, all those things that reinforce us our spiritual intimacy.
And
Because
do you
what
feel
is
like that's a
marriage? What
that?
is marriage?
Mhm.
Marriage is the earthly symbolic symbol
Of the
of
church?
God's love for the church.
Mhm.
God is the groom, you know, and we're the bride. So
Yes.
with that understanding, that's just a great list. Those 12 things that encompass intimacy. So it's every minute of the day walk. It's a purposeful thing that you have to remind yourself that if I am neglectful in this, it's gonna wreck our marriage. And
Yes. So don't neglect
so
yourself, and then don't
right,
neglect to
exactly, and
don't
don't
neg-
neglect
get
your
rest. Get rest so
yes,
that you can be restful for the other. So yes,
absolutely,
and then we come. So it's individually first, and then collectively. Correct, sir?
yes.
Mm.
So
So did we need to open it? Can we? Let's see some chats. Let's open up the floor just a little bit, Angie, and see.
Absolutely.
And so
I'm
we
sorry
thank
I keep
you.
moving, y'all. It's raining
That's
outside, so I
okay.
had to come in. I had to
Oh,
charge
that's
my
so it's
thing, and then now it's
raining.
it ain't
raining.
It
raining
So
might
on
be
our
out
side of
there. I
town.
don't need it to be
it
raining.
just started sprinkling. So I'm sorry if you
Okay,
all
needs
see
to
me go off
stop.
camera. I'm moving.
That's all right. It needs to stop. We got things to do.
Absolutely.
Yes.
I do have a question. Yeah, we can certainly open up. I've been trying to play the comments on my
I've
end.
been seeing
And
them.
so I want to let you all know anytime you see any of these lovely people on, if you go to the Peak Wellness Hour YouTube page, I can see everybody's comments and I can show those. If you're commenting on Queen Gloria's or King Brian's comment section, they're linked to our thing. But I don't know if they are today, but we can't see them to share them. So that's why we encourage you all to come over. But if you all see anything on your end that you wanted to ask that I can't see over here on this end, as far as comments, please let me know. Because this has been a very amazing conversation. And I'll tell you what, you all, this couple here, what you see is what you get. And I think that my original question was how do you grow through this thing as from maturity in relationship to immaturity to maturity. And I've watched them over the years, and these two, Gloria's always been like my sister because I forgot that she was older. Because she's just so carefree and childlike. Y'all see her in her loving heart. So, but I've watched the maturity, and you get to see the beauty of them balancing one another out. When we say the Carters, even with my cousins, their children, I asked where are the Carters. That's how we refer to them. What are we going to do for the birthdays? Let's ask the Carters. So, and we know what to expect.
Now she changed it
They're
to
in
the
their
Royal
own
Quarters.
world. They're in their own little world. Dining is always a fun experience. We know they're going to do their own
Yo,
thing. There is no concept that anybody else at the table. They are doing their thing. They're sharing. What's his name? What's the glasses name? Jamal. They're
Jamal.
sharing Jamal down there. Their food is to the T. They take but you can see the intimacy even with ordering their food and dining together. Everything about them. So when he just named out those 12 sorts of intimacies, you see where it's in everything. It's in the communication. It's in when we work together or don't work together. It's in when we come together and we're apart. It's in everything. So I love how you all have done that beautifully over the years. And you don't make it look easy, but you do make it look interesting and worth the while. And I love it.
It's work. And listen, sometimes your roles have to change, but put each other in each other's shoes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So it's different when
Mm-hmm.
you watch somebody down through the years change.
Mm-hmm.
And you're like, okay, what used to work for you doesn't work that way. And I'll say this about sexual intimacy is this: those things change too.
Mm-hmm.
And you roll with those punches and you say, okay, you know what? I have a shorter, we used to go long or you go short, holding hands, doing different things that outside brings you into that place. It's not just about sex. And that's what everybody wants to put it.
Mm-hmm.
Don't put it in a category. Put it in an arrangement of a
And it's a
beautiful song,
marathon.
not a
It's
sprint.
not a quick sprint. It's a marathon.
And Brian tells this story all the time. It's about two bulls. It's a young bull and and an elderly bull, and they're at the top of the hill, and they see all the lovely cattle down there. And so the young bull says, "Let's run and take them all."
No,
How does he say
let's
it?
run down there and grab one of them cows.
I didn't want to say it that way because I don't want to be a cow
The
today.
older bull says, "Let's walk
Walk
down and
get
get
them all.
Now, how you converting that? Go ahead. Let's hear
Okay,
your
what I wanted to
interpretation
say
on that.
is it's not a sprint, it's a marathon.
Okay.
But that don't mean you're supposed to take all the cattle for yourself.
Okay.
But if you sprint,
yeah,
you'll lose steam with the one cattle.
I get it.
But if you take your time, you'll have the whole cow. Moo.
Saying that she made that's not a joke.
I had to watch to see how she was gonna flip that.
Did I work for you?
That's usually when you talk to guys, it's a guy type of thing, but she worked it. Gloria knows guy talk. And that's one fun thing
very well.
that I like about her. So, But yeah, so we definitely would have to do a part 2 getting into this. And but I do encourage couples to get with either online or in books or different things with positive couples.
There's a book out now that we really needed to promote today, and I didn't think about giving it to Angie. Put it in the chat. You have it with you?
Remember the title?
Well, there's 2 books. One is Marriage in the Repair Shop.
Yes.
Let me look. Marriage in the Repair Shop. That is one of our dear friends. They just put out a book, and it's awesome. It's awesome. And then the other is A Clear Sound. 2 trumpets that become one sound, and it comes out in Numbers.
Yeah.
Talking about how you take a trumpet, you take a brass or a beaten cymbal, and it has to be beat down to become a clear sound. And that's what it is in life. Sometimes we have to be on the potter's wheel. We have to be molded and made together. And right when you think you molded and you molded right, boom, something breaks and it has to be reshaped again. And that's the shifts of marriage and life and intimacy. There's levels and shifts. And what we want to do is what worked in one season is not going to work in another season. It's just not. Put on your fur coat today and see how you feel. Put on a heavy coat today and step outside and see if you don't almost pass out. And then in the wintertime, go outside in some shorts. I mean, some people do, but it's still an adjustment. You have to adjust with the seasons. And the word of God says it like this: as long as the earth remains,
Yes.
there will be seed time and harvest, winter, spring, summer, and fall. You know, in the fall, things kind of fall away. In the winter, things are dormant and cold and hard. Then springtime, things start blooming and blossoming. Then it's summer, it's full spring. It's full out, but it's hot. And then guess what? Fall, everything's fall away, and the process starts again.
There it is.
There it is. Or well, really quickly, what was the second book?
Clear Sound.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I will find that.
What was her name? Pastor Williams.
But the first book is by Derek Timms, but his last name kind of sounds like Thames, Thames.
Yes, but it's Timms.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
You talking about it in your face.
Very good.
Very good. And you know, we're always in the repair shop. We're always needing a tune up.
That's the key.
That's the key. You always need a tune up. You always need your oil change. You even have to check. Do you not have to check your gauges to see if you need oil, if you need water, if you need transmission fluid? Do you go to gas station? You have to gas up to go down the road.
And that'll be for part 2.
Oh yes, yes. And I would like to bring them on too. But that's what we want to talk about, the emotional roller coasters of intimacy.
Awesome. I love it. I love it. Make sure you all, again, really quickly, make sure you all, if you have not got your book of The Glory Carrier and Prayer Journey by Gloria Carter, you want to get that book on Amazon. It's in the description. It is in the comment section at the very top when you go to the People in This Hour on YouTube and on Facebook. Yeah. Also, make sure you go.
Please. Yeah, they can go to Amazon, right? Did you say Amazon?
Yep. Yes. Mm-hmm. Yes.
And I'm telling you, please, I'm inviting you. You get a taste of my journey, and I'm inviting you to take the journey with me and put your name in one of those sunflowers as we follow the sun. SUNSON.
I love it. I love it. And then you also have to follow King Brian Carter with the Black Men's Group. That link is in the description, is in at the beginning of the comment section. BMG, Black Men's Group. I always say of indie when I tell people, because we know different people that join us. Queen Kathy's on the West Coast. We have people, Queen Lynn's on the East Coast. We have people everywhere. So I say of indie because I want you all to know the ranges. But I do know there's an event tomorrow, and it's a virtual event.
Yes.
From 2 to 3 p.m. That is on the Black Men's Group page that you can look at.
Because we're celebrating Parents' Day.
Parents' Day is tomorrow.
Day, but I know there's a Mother's Day. I know there's a Father's Day. But there's such a thing as called Parents' Day. And of course, that promotes togetherness.
See, intimacy in parenthood. So you all check
that out. You have to. You have to know your children. You have to know what they need so that you can pour into them. And we always think they're just like us, but they're not. They're individuals.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So true.
Yeah. So today is a special day too. I'm full of surprises. And so y'all just have to find out later what it is. And I have a surprise for Elder Brian. And I'm just laughing and cracking up because he still hasn't figured out what today is.
I haven't looked. I'm waiting to be surprised.
All right.
Oh, Lordy, Lord. Oh my God. That is all we have. Oh, one more thing. I'm sorry. I'll let you all go. You all don't have to stay on, but I did want to share with you all really quickly our video of the week. So you have until, I have it on the website under Weekend Watch Party, have all weekend to watch this video, and I'll share the preview, and then we're gonna get out of here. So this is called Inspirations, David Francis on Relationship RX. So I'm gonna show you guys this preview really quickly, and we're gonna get out of here.
I'm Regina Meredith. Joining us on Gaia Inspirations is author David Price Francis. Get ready to rethink relationships between men and women. We'll discuss masculine and feminine energies.
The yin-yang symbol, it's what it symbolizes. So the man is always trying to complete himself by connecting with that energy in the woman, and the woman seeks to complete herself by connecting to that energy in the man, and so they spin around each other.
Soul recharging.
The power rises from the planet, it comes into the women pass it to the men.
Oh.
And so the women actually provide the power to the men. That's why if the men suppress the women, they lose power and they start to become lesser as men.
Partners in purpose.
So I call it a mutually agreed purpose, or map. And when a couple have a map and they have a mutually agreed purpose, it brings that power into their relationship.
Stereotypes.
Because the tide of our culture works against spiritual development, it takes brave people to actually say, I'm going in the other direction.
Discover a new way to look at relationships. Join us for our exclusive interview with David Price Francis.
Yeah, if you have never followed David, if you've never followed him, he is very, very good. Very
awesome.
Very good.
Awesome.
Yes.
So yeah, that's in the description and the comment section at the top, as well as on the website. You guys can watch that for free all weekend. If you do like Gaia, please use my link and sign up for a subscription. That is all we have today. I am so excited that you all came on. Thank you for your time. I know you are so busy. If you all ever hear me talk about Carmen Sandiego, this is the one here. You will never know where she's going to be. When I talk to her later in about 2 hours, they might be in Cincinnati for all I know.
That's our favorite escape place.
So, I love it. I love the adventure. I love the love with you. I love the Black love. Thank you all so much for sharing your experience, sharing your story, sharing truth. Thank you for being here. I can't wait.
Love you. We're proud of you.
Proud of you.
Thank you. Peace, love, and blessings. Until next time, you all. The Carters.